Good day. Hello to you, and welcome to Hug Nation Live. I am John Halcyon Stinn, your host for this daily gathering of gratitude and connection. I forgot to hit start stream a moment ago, and so I've been talking to you for a few minutes, and I have a feeling that you didn't hear me. Unless you're right outside my window, in which case we should have a conversation about boundaries. So good morning. Welcome to Hug Nation Live. Hug Nation Live is broadcast every morning at 9 a.m. on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. And every so often, still deciding how frequently, depending on how the broadcast goes, I will edit those up and put them on the very new spanking new. I think even if it's old, it's going to be spanking. So the spanking new Hug Nation podcast. So if you would like to listen to the kind of meat of these broadcasts, you can find it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Good morning, Gerbot. Good morning, Juan. Good morning, high noon. I just had a conversation this morning with a couple guys who were interested in putting together a virtual men's group, an online gathering of men, which is something I've been thinking about, and it was really good to kind of brainstorm a little bit and get to know each other a little bit. So if that has interest in you, a men's group that would be meeting in Zoom, maybe once or twice a month, and just building relationships with each other and building trust and talking about the very normal stresses and concerns and uncertainties and challenges of being a man in the world. And some of those challenges are the exact same challenges of being a human of any sort in the world, but there is a different type of healing that happens and is fostered in a container that that has those that does not have mixed genders and any of the traces of needing to impress or act a certain way towards the opposite sex. Now, I'm speaking from a heteronormative mindset, but there is a difference in the way that, even at subconscious levels, that men can feel a pressure to have it all held together, unless there is a specific container created where we make it very clear and we build trust and say, we all know that we're struggling with things, so let's hear it. And as we hear from one another, we learn that we're not alone, and that any sort of worries that we're failing or that we're not living up to what's expected of us. We're like, oh, everybody's got these challenges and these struggles. And sometimes you hear from someone who's had some massive epiphany around something that you're just getting your handle on. You're like, oh my gosh, that's so helpful. Or just to be reminded of the basic things. I mean, that's part of this gathering too, is that we get to remind ourselves of these basic truths that slip away all day long, every day, like gratitude. It's so easy to slip into a story of what's wrong, unless you can also have an opportunity and a practice of going, oh, and look what's right. Anybody have something that they're feeling grateful for they'd like to share? I am grateful that we had the final, not the final practice, but the final choir practice in our home. Lisa scheduled individual practices with each part of the choir, like the baritones and tenors, and last night there was a group of, actually was it only women last night? It must have been sopranos last night. That's the high ones, right? But yeah, we had a house full of people singing. It's like, I'm so grateful to live in a beautiful home that was filled with song last night. It was fantastic. It was really neat. Juan says, I'm grateful that this morning we found a scorpion in a large plastic cup. Somehow over the night he walked into it because it was against the wall. Lucky us that the cup was against the wall. Yikes, what do you do with a scorpion in a cup? Gearbot says, grateful to be able to choose how I spend my time. Yes. Yeah, the difference between... Oh boy. I'm a little sleepy this morning. The difference between a hobby and a job is something sometimes as simple as how much choice you have. If you like drawing, it's a hobby. If you have to draw what someone else tells you to draw, that's a job. And that can apply to a lot of things. So hooray for choice and how we choose our time. I'm grateful for a bunch of nice phone calls I had yesterday. I got to talk with my cousin, and I talked with my brother, talked with my mom. I'm grateful what else did I do yesterday? I'm grateful that I was able to help out with the choir practice. We realized that there was a bunch of people that are coming to our house, and we live in a gated community, but there's no guard at the gate after 5 p.m. on Sunday. And so I had to go out there and hang out in the rain and let people in. But I felt grateful that I got to be helpful in that way. I'm also grateful that I've been collaborating with Lisa and helping her produce her very first podcast, which is what she's recording downstairs. So it's now live. It's A Song for All of Us podcast that it goes with this choir series. The choir series is they're all songs that have to do with finding harmony in a world where it's increasingly amounts of disagreement. And so she's having conversations with different people, one of which is the Sora from Mamuse, which is the band who we're performing with and who has written a number of the songs that we're singing. And the other aspect of the podcast is she's gotten really into the Gene Keys. If you're familiar with that, the Gene Keys is a book by Richard Rudd, and I'm not super familiar, but she's been teaching me, and I've read a little bit, and it kind of goes through all of these aspects of human personality, and every negative trait is on a spectrum. So like, this won't be accurate, but like, let's say selfishness is if it's the same seed that if it gets healed at the other end of it is generosity or something like that. This is why I haven't heard the podcast yet. I've just been helping her edit and produce it. And so But so she's also been getting into the Gene Keys, and so each song of the series that we're singing has been mapped to a Gene Key, and the Gene Keys have all this, different information. So this podcast is about harmony and peace in this world, as well as music, as well as little conversations about how the Gene Keys relate. And since there's only 6 of us here, I will give an exclusive. She's interviewing Richard Rudd, who wrote the Gene Keys, downstairs right now. I mean, he's not here, but they're having a Zoom call. And if you're not familiar, like, that was a big deal. I'm very impressed. I can't not wait to listen. He's the real deal. Darren says, I'm grateful I don't wake to find scorpions in cups. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I feel like that we need to make like a new game, like cup, scorpion, knife. Knife kills scorpion. Okay. Scorpion kills cup. Yeah, so I'm stoked with the, and as long as I was learning how to do all that, and I've also made a Hug Nation podcast, but right now it's basically archives of these broadcasts. Like if a broadcast goes, I feel like is really meaty, I will turn it into a podcast. And generally what I do is I take out most of the me reading and responding to the comments, because I don't think that translates as well, but we'll see. Actually, in the one that I just uploaded, I do mention your name, Gerbot. And Kiri, I think. We'll see. I don't know. It depends on how much coffee I have, determines how much excitement I have about doing new projects in the future. I have not had coffee yet today, so suddenly everything seems a little more daunting. But I'm grateful that I've got a pretty relaxed day. I've got a coaching call in 45 minutes, and then I think I have a relaxing day. So maybe I will skip the coffee and just try to let my body rest today. Anyone else want to share anything they're feeling grateful for? I'm grateful that our flooded basement seems to be 95% all dried up. Whew. Grateful for the fans that have been running 24/7 for the last 5 days. Cool. Thanks, Gerbot. Yeah, I just, in the flow of it, I think you made a comment and then I responded, and I liked the way it went, so I just kept it in. And then I put in the show notes your home address and your phone number. No, I did not. Gearbot says, grateful for my regular Sunday family Zoom. I've been very grateful for family lately. There's a number of people in my family, extended family that have health stuff going on, and it is really a powerful reminder to treasure the stuff, treasure the time. Heinen says, grateful for the insights and clarity I've been having the past few days in the pains. I am grateful for the hundreds of birds on the tidal river that I spent time with yesterday paddleboarding. Cool. Well, I'm grateful that my body's been doing pretty well. I've been doing my physical therapy. It seems to be very slow In fact, I think I have an appointment this week that maybe I will postpone because I feel like not much change since last appointment, and I don't want to pay $60 for him to say, keep doing your exercises. But I'm grateful for this body. I'm so grateful for my partnership with Lisa. We've been watching the show The Gilded Age on HBO, and it's like the train barons, and there was an episode where Edison came to town and did this demonstration of electricity. It's in like New York, whatever time that would be. I'm not sure what year that is. I'm not good at history, but it's all high society, and I turned to Lisa last night. I go, I don't think I would like living then, rich or poor. Like, none of this looks fun. Good morning, Sarah. Sarah says, so grateful to make it to the live this morning. Grateful for the past 2 weeks in Boise, having successful art shows and wonderful friends and customers. Nice. Congrats on the successful show. And I'm grateful that you're here as well. I notice I am being a little on the quiet side because I can hear Lisa and I don't want to interrupt, or actually I don't want to take too much bandwidth away from her recording. Although I checked our speed test right before this, and we were cranking with our uploads and downloads, so I wasn't too worried about slowing down her recording. Oh my. Maybe I need to do a little walk around the block before my coaching call so I don't get my blood moving. I didn't mention what the experiment was. Now I've forgotten what I'm talking about. Experiment. I apologize. My brain is not helping out today. But I hope we all have good physical therapy today. Good luck with yours, High Noon. I'll try to do mine as well. Lisa's podcast is live. Go check it out. And I'm going to have a sleepy day, it sounds like. Whee! Thanks for sharing your gratitude. And it's an important people know what Edison did to demonstrate why DC is bad. In the show, all they do is they show lighting up. Everyone comes to a building, and there's a big crowd, and they flip a switch, and the building lights up. And all the people who have been lighting their homes with candles are like, oh. They did not talk about the elephant electrocution. That has not been part of the show. Yeah, maybe the experiment was not drinking coffee. You're right. I think that experiment needs more data, or at least more coffee. Sounds good, High Noon, and sounds good, everyone. And with that, wherever you are, let's give ourselves a big old squeeze. Feeling grateful for this moment, grateful for the day ahead and our bodies and time spent with family, whether in our memories or actual attention we get to be with them. I'm grateful for the recognition of so many beautiful people around the world that we are sharing this wild ride with. Let's take a deep breath in and squeeze. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all of us here, thanks for being here. Love you.